Welcome back. We're taking a live look at the Falcon cam on top of the Rachel Carson building in Harrisburg, where its newest residents are making themselves right at home. Bert, we have some babies here. This, of course, is Bert Myers from the Department of Environmental Protection. He knows a thing or two about these beautiful birds. So before we get started, tell everyone, when did the falcons start nesting on top of that building?
That goes back to 2000. And since that time, the site has become the most productive peregrine falcon site in terms of producing young in the state.
And so we know it was just Mother's Day weekend. We've been watching these eggs for quite some time. When did they actually hatch?
We had 3 hatched within 7 hours last Tuesday.
Okay.
And it's pretty remarkable for that to happen in such a short
Usually they're
time.
more spaced out.
They are.
And so as we begin to grow, what's so special about the peregrines?
Well, this is a species that was not that long ago literally gone from Pennsylvania, an endangered species. Now we've got a species that's recovered, and every young that we add to that mix further improves the dynamics of the population of falcons in Pennsylvania.
So this really is an important building. You mentioned
it
it keeps producing these offspring.
So
it's a big thing to help bring back these species.
It has, and now that they're delisted, they're no longer listed at the federal state level as endangered or threatened. So it's a great success story.
Well, we loved following along on this little journey, of course, with the eggs as they were hatched. We see them now. They don't look like much. What happens next? When do they actually start? They're going to grow pretty quick.
They are. Right now, they weigh about 1.5 ounces, and they're going to grow really fast over the next 60 days, or 30 days, excuse me. And at that point, they're going to fledge. They're going to learn how to fly, and that's where you have some challenges, because they don't. Usually, their first flights aren't very good. But we should see that happening about the middle of June.
Really? And will they fly off that building? I mean, that's that's talk about learning, right? Trial by fire there.
There's an opportunity there for your viewers that are wildlife or bird watchers. We solicit for volunteers to help us watch these birds when they first fly, because they can often get themselves in a compromised position, and we literally rescue them.
Really?
And then I'll take them up to either the roof of the Rachel Carson State Office building, or release them on the 15th floor ledge, if they're healthy and everything's looking good.
Now, you talked about how this species kind of has fought its way back over the years. I'm sure you still monitor the birds. Will the new baby peregrines become a part of that tracking system? How does that work?
Yes, what will happen is that in conjunction with the Pennsylvania Game Commission, close to the fledging period, we will ban these birds, and they will have federal bans on them that allow them to be identified for the rest of their life. And so that's really handy. A biologist could then tell where it was born, what sex it was, how old it is. And it's a pretty remarkable system.
Will they travel far from this area? Will they ever always call Harrisburg home?
No, they will not. Most of the birds are going to disperse probably sometime in August, and they'll head. We don't know. You know, they could head towards the coastal areas. They could head somewhere in Pennsylvania. We have birds from this nest site that are nested in Cleveland, down in Maryland. It's pretty remarkable.
That's cool, and you'll be able to track them the whole way. That's got to be cool for you to follow.
Well, it is. The biologist has to have them in hand, but if they can identify the bands and the sequence of numbers on there, you know which bird you're looking at.
Bert, thank you so much. I mean, this has really been cool for us to kind of follow along, and thank you for coming in to explain this, because we don't know much about it. We just say, look at these birds, they're so cool. Of course, for more information on the falcons and a link to the Falcon cam that we show you every morning, you can head to our website, fox43.com.